Well, that's the same thing you do. You can do these on the ground, or you can do them from the saddle. The same thing is that give to the bit. That's where you're going to start. When the horse is out here in front, he's got all of his in a straight line. He's got all of his power. I mean, his power comes from back here. I mean, this is a huge muscle back here, a huge engine. So when his frame is in a straight line, then he can utilize all of his strength out of all of his muscles in his body. Okay, so the reason we soften up this neck, right, is because as soon as we break this straight line in his neck, the horse loses like 80-90% of his power just by putting a break in his neck here. Okay, so that is the main purpose that we do that. The second purpose is, again, so that they're flexible and we can teach them how to move in a way that they won't get hurt and whatnot. But the exercises that we use to do that are the same thing you would do from the ground. You ask them to give, right? And you start out, and that's just the horse putting slack. It's hard to do on him because he's very responsive. You take the slack out of the rein. He nods his head toward it. He puts the slack back in the rein, because with the animal's natural reaction, and you notice if you've seen a horse rear, pull back, anything, when a horse feels resistance, they pull against it. They want to pull. If you push them, they push back. Right? If you pull, they pull back. So it's always a tug of war. So what we have to do with the first starting out with the giving is we're reprogramming the horse that when he feels pressure, don't go into it, come off of it. Okay, so we're reprogramming him, his whole way of thinking, that when he feels pressure to come, no, back up please, to come off of that, turn sideways. There you go. To come off of that pressure, okay? So once we get the horse softened up, and we don't want to do too much of the giving at first, because we're going to connect it. So most of your horses are going to be really stiff. They're just going to give you a little teeny thing, and as soon as they break it like 4 inches from center, so here's 4 inch, right about in there. As soon as he'll give to you, turn the other way, just that much off center. Okay, so whenever we're trying to get the horse soft in the neck, what we have to remember is it's not really the neck that we're working with. Okay, we use the neck because when we do break that, it takes a lot of his power away. But what we're actually doing is we're getting in his head. Okay, we're getting him to respond to the bridle. That when I pick up on this rein, that I'm going to ask him to do something. Right, but with the beginning. That was cute. In the beginning, most horses are really stiff. So in order to get that connection there, then we have to use a body part to get the softness. So we go to the hip and the shoulder, and we get them soft. We get that softness by moving a body part. If we get him too soft in the face and don't connect it to one of these body parts, then we go to move his body. Okay, he's going to bring his nose all the way around here like this, and I'm going to go, well, how am I supposed to get him to move now? You know, he's nice and soft, but now I can't move anything because he's too soft. So in the beginning, that's why we're going to use that stiffness. But it's real important to remember that it's not the neck that's softening; it's his mind. Okay, because you can have a horse that's tucked in like this and still be tearing off down the arena with you, and you have no control. All right, he's soft. By all means of the technical mean of softening the horse to the bridle, he couldn't get any softer than that. All right, but this horse right now could still just run off with me because his body's still in a straight line. All right, so we're connecting to his mind and connecting his bit, letting him know that when I pick up on this bit, I'm going to ask you to do something. It may be to move this hip, or it may be to move the shoulder. But if he's thinking, we have to make that bit important. If we're yapping and we're talking and we're doing like this to the bit, or we're bumping him, or we're just, doing all this other garbage, then when we go to pick up the rein and ask him to do something, he's going to, he's not going to know the difference between that and bumping and playing around with his face. So once we get the horse paying attention to the bridle, then we have to watch ourselves that whenever we pick it up, it's like the telephone. Okay, so if we pick it up and all there is he goes yes, and all there is static, then pretty soon he's not going to pick up the phone. He's not going to soften up. He's not going to listen to you because he knows that you're not going to say anything to him.